All right, we're here at the No Fair is Fair demonstration Antifa's holding at Pioneer Courthouse Square. And I'm talking with, you want to give me your full name?
Yep, I'm James Ball, local resident. I live just a few blocks from here, and concerned about what's going on in the city, and so wanted to come down and check it out and just see what's going on.
Great. Are you in favor of a fairless square or a no fair TriMet?
You know, honestly, I don't know that I have really have an opinion on the matter. I just, I appreciate people coming down and peacefully protesting. I appreciate their right to do so. Support their right to peacefully demonstrate. These things tend to get a little bit violent occasionally, so obviously don't support that. But people are they're obviously very passionate about this, and so I support their right to come down here and protest.
Come down here and demonstrate?
Yeah, absolutely.
If you were, say, in charge, what would you do to improve the system for riders as it is?
Honestly, I think we've got 5 years, maybe 10, before autonomous vehicles just totally change the paradigm of how we get from point A to point B. I think what our elected officials need to do is focus on the future rather than, TriMet's going to end up being an antiquated system in less than a decade, and we just keep putting more and more money and resources into it. I think we just need to prepare for the future, and our city and county leadership are doing it exactly the wrong way.
That's an interesting answer. I like that. I like that.
It's 5 years.
Do you think there will be more or less vehicles on the road when autonomous vehicles?
100% more. And they'll all be electric. So I grabbed one of their flyers just to see what they were talking about. They're talking about the economic justice and the fact that, and what's going on over there, the zero transit would result in less carbon emissions. But once autonomous vehicles take over, they're all going to be electric, and so that's kind of not really an argument.
Yeah, it's going to be based on how we get our energy.
Right,
to
but
power
there's going to be a ton of more vehicles on the road because it's going to cost $3 to get from one point to the other across the city. Once that happens, nobody's going to take the bus. All these dedicated bus lanes, all these transit corridors are all going to be empty.
What if they start looking at that as a public good? Do you see TriMet?
I think it is.
We're going way off into the future here, but do you see TriMet as possibly being running some of these autonomous vehicles?
They could if our city and county and state leadership started looking at that as a possibility. I think more likely it's going to be Intel and Tesla and Lyft and Uber who are going to own that market.
Yeah.
They already have the infrastructure. They've got the drivers. They've got the app.
They're making the technology.
They're making the technology. I guess they won't need the drivers, but they've got the infrastructure already. What TriMet can do is start building that infrastructure now to make that a public good.
Yeah.
You want to talk about equity when it comes to transportation. It only costs a couple dollars. I mean, imagine Uber or Lyft, except now you don't have to pay for the driver. All you're talking about is wear and tear on the vehicle. It's electric, so it's cheap to run. It's going to cost dollars to get all the way across town. I was out there talking to them, and they, the reason they wear masks, I asked them, is because they're afraid of being outed, their identity's outed, which makes them a target for fascists. Do you think that that's a real problem, that they might be outed and targeted in their homes?
I think that's a genuine concern. I don't think it's a very significant concern. It's not likely, but it's a possibility. On a wide scale, probably not. Less than the conservatives, because they actively dox the conservatives and put them in put their information in the public square.
Interesting. Yeah, I just.
I understand why they're concerned about it. I think that a lot of it is pretending they're concerned about it, because generally the conservatives don't care if somebody comes out and protests.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious. Like I said, we don't see Patriot Prayer or Proud Boys or any of those folks here. I wonder if
think they oppose. I don't think they oppose
care.
A genuine demonstration.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, I really think that a mask law in Oregon makes a lot of sense, or in Portland. When you're at a demonstration, I don't think you should be able to wear a mask. You're out there putting yourself on the line. You're putting yourself out there for everybody to see with your views, and I don't think you should be able to wear a mask. Do you have a position on that?
I'm going to go against you on that. Actually, I believe if people want to wear masks, I think that's their right. I think that I personally take them a little less seriously when I don't see their faces, because it's like I'm going to go out here with these views, and I know those views are not popular, so I'm going to hide my face because I don't want you to associate my identity with my views. And I feel like that is kind of it's just I don't take them as seriously when they do that.
Yeah. Well, in Berkeley, for example, there was a tremendous amount of violence, Antifa violence. And when they did a mask law and they made it so people had to demonstrate, showing who they were, that violence just went away. I mean, not 100%, but it was really bad, and now it's a small problem.
That's reasonable. I can see that. I can see that that helping with the violence.
And even anymore, the ones that are out there doing the violence just ignore the mask law and they wear it anyway.
That's also true. That's also true. We were talking about Andy No earlier, and Andy says some fairly provocative things online and in person. He's has the right to do that, but he was assaulted and beat up and had to go to the hospital for filming at one of these events.
Yeah.
And as far as I know, there have been no arrests. There have been no investigation. There's been nothing. And so these people who, I mean, I've met Andy, and he's kind of a mild-mannered guy. I can't imagine that he was being provocative enough to warrant.
At these things, I don't even see him asking questions. He just goes and films and then puts that out. So I can't imagine he was that provocative anyway.
Yeah, and I don't know. I wasn't there, but the fact that somebody was sent to the hospital and there were no arrests in the matter is concerning to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there anything else you'd like to?
I just, as long as these guys are peaceful and they don't try to disrupt anything, I'm all for peaceful protests. And like I said, I grabbed some of their literature. It's just good to see where citizens stand on different things. There's a couple different sides to this issue. I can see where they're coming from. I don't know that I necessarily agree with that stance, but I fully and completely support their right to peacefully demonstrate.
Absolutely. Well, that's America.
That's America.
All right. Well, thanks a lot.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Take care.
Take care.